come with me for this after dark speed clean of my house. So this is the downstairs area of the house that we are tackling in this speed clean. Let me first show you what we are starting with. So the dining area isn't too bad, but the kitchen is a bit of a disaster zone. So it's the school summer holidays at the moment, and I have been out and about with my kids. You'll see all of the picnic stuff. We basically like dumped and run this evening, just like threw everything down and then got the kids in bed. So it is pretty chaotic. Now I have spent the bulk of the past 10 days, if not 2 weeks, away from home, staying at my mum and stepdad's house. My stepdad had a stroke. He was in hospital for a week before he passed away. So it has been an incredibly stressful and emotional time for me and everyone else in my family. So I've only been back home for a couple of days. Now I will say that when I got home, I was really I was amazed by just how tidy the house was. Not because my husband is not fully capable of tidying up the house, but that it is an awful lot to be juggling working. My husband is a senior civil servant. He has a very stressful job. We have got 3 kids, ages 7, 5 and 2. It is the summer holidays, so it isn't even our normal routine. We've got our boys in camps. They were at 2 different camps as well. So they did a couple of days at one camp and then a day at another camp. He's doing packed lunches, which we wouldn't ordinarily do because normally with school day, our kids get fed at school. So packed lunches, navigate, getting sun cream on the kids in the day, getting them back, getting them dinner, which is also like Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Our boys go to after school club and they get fed there. So there's just like so much additional work during the school holidays. Like I find it very stressful juggling work around the pickups and drop-offs for camps, all the extra work that comes along with them. And then on top of that, my husband had clearly cleaned the house from top to bottom. He cleaned the bathrooms, he'd hoovered, the kitchen was immaculate, the floors were clean, and it was so nice because I totally did not expect it. And he had clearly gone out of his way to make sure that when I stepped back in the house, it was calm, it was peaceful. I had no excuse but just to try to relax. Like I wasn't relaxed at all, but to try to decompress because it was such an anxious time, and I think the adrenaline is like quite high. So coming down from that has certainly taken quite a while. I felt quite ill. Like I feel quite ill now, even with headaches, and we definitely have a bit of a virus that's been doing around in the house as well. So the kids have also not been 100%. So we've got that as well. But the house had been looking great. It is not a case of I've been away, I've come back, the house is a disaster zone. It was actually looking great. It's just that during the holidays, when I am home with the kids, after a couple of days, like things can build up. So this is just a couple of days. And I've been out with the kids. I can't even remember where I'd been with the kids this particular day. But we'd been out, we'd had picnics, and there was a lot of stuff to deal with. And actually, I quite enjoyed just kind of getting back into a bit of a rhythm, a bit of a routine at home. It is so hot at the moment. We were having like a serious heat wave, hence me being in my short gym shorts and the thinnest top that I could find. It was just so hot. But it was really nice to actually have a bit of a run around. Now, when I feel like the house is looking a bit overwhelming and I have quite a lot to tackle, I love to set an actual like visual timer and try to do as much as I possibly can is in as short a space as possible. And I am 100% convinced if I did not do this, it would take me like quadruple the amount of time to tackle these spaces. There is no way that I would have completed this in the time that I did if I'd not set a timer and made it a bit of a competition. Also, it's just so much more fun. Like, I know that sounds a bit silly, and if you don't enjoy cleaning, which I don't know, I do find it quite therapeutic to clean, but I'm not Mrs. Hinch. So Often I would think like, oh, I'd just rather sit and have a cup of tea and watch something on telly than do this cleaning right now. But there is this sort of notion, like the gamification of things. If you can gamify something, like make it a game, make it fun, make it enjoyable, then you will be like 10 times quicker, you'll be more likely to revisit that task and just feel better about it once it's done. And that is so true. And there is very few things that you cannot gamify. I get my words out. And cleaning is 100% one that is really easy to do so. Just by setting a timer, making like it a bit of a competition with yourself. Like, can I get this done in the time that I've set? So I set my timer for 15 minutes, which is very little time, but I always find like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes max to start with on a task is enough to like really get me motivated, really get me going. And then I will reset the timer to kind of complete the task. But to start with, I like to put like some extra pressure on myself there. A 15-minute timer, can I do it? I always start with, well, firstly, emptying the dishwasher if there's stuff in the dishwasher, and then getting the dishwasher filled back up, getting everything that needs hand washing into the washing basin, and then I can start to clear down surfaces, have a bit more of a tidy. But it always surprises me, and just the difference that it makes in doing the washing up and getting the dishwasher filled back up. Like, you look around in the kitchen and you think, God, there's an awful lot of mess. I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do the other. But actually, the bulk of it is probably dirty dishes. And once you've tackled those, everything looks a lot better. In fact, so it's a couple of days later that I'm doing this voiceover for the video, and I'd put a few things up on a local giving away site. So I've been decluttering recently, had some things that have been sitting in the utility room, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to get that sorted today, put them on the local giving away site. And immediately I was contacted by a friend of mine who wanted some of the items. And she was like, I can pop round today. That was also very handy for me, for her to pop round today. So we arranged that she would come over today to get them, because that gets them out of the way for me. I'm actually going back to help my mum out with funeral arrangements tomorrow, so I wasn't going to be around for the next few days. So great, my friend was coming. And then like I looked around the house and was just like, oh my goodness, like it was fine, it wasn't too bad and everything, but I wanted to kind of tackle as much as I possibly could as quickly as possible. So again, it's just like setting myself a little bit of a goal, a bit of a task of, what can I do in the time that I have? Run the hoover around, just sorting out the dishes first, getting things in the dishwasher, getting everything off the table, getting everything into the sink made so much difference. It actually only took me earlier like 10-15 minutes, and I would happily like have opened the door at that moment and had my friend come in and not be embarrassed, right? And we're not aiming for perfection here, and I am not with this particular clean that you can see. I just want to make a decent impact so that I can come down to the kitchen the next morning and have it feel like relatively peaceful, relatively calm. I do not go to bed with dishes not done, with a mess in the house. I like to have like a proper nightly reset. That does not mean I put everything away out of sight at all. It just means that I get an area looking a lot calmer, a lot more manageable. And then, we have to do it all over again after breakfast with the kids. But I am finding that the older the kids get, the easier it gets. And I know that that's to be expected, but I guess I felt like I had a lot longer, like a lot further to go before I started to see a difference, because my youngest is still just 2. She turns 3 very soon, actually, in October. But I feel like we are getting to that point now where, like, after a meal, yes, there will be crumbs. Yes, I will need to sweep the floor. But like, oh my God, when the kids were weaning and the food everywhere, like I'd have to clean my floor almost every single night. It was an absolute nightmare. And I feel like we are so far removed from that point of life now. Like, it's sad in a lot of ways. Like, I do kind of miss it. and the fact that I won't be having any more babies, we won't be doing any more weaning, the kind of like the newborn days are definitely done. But it's also like such a relief, and it's so nice to kind of move on with the next phase of life. Like, I'm enjoying it, and I'm trying very hard to enjoy all the tough moments of parenting as well. Enjoy it while I'm in it, because I can definitely see how very quickly I will miss those days. But it is nice to not be spending quite so long picking food off the floor, cleaning up after the kids, like after every single meal. And maybe I'll get to the point one day where I don't have to clean my chair so regularly because I've got greasy paw prints over them. But I expect I still have some way to go there, and a bit more time left cleaning the chairs after meal times, which I am perfectly okay with. These really are the days that I prayed for and cried over. Like, I will never forget just how heartbroken I was with my first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. And at that time, I didn't know that I would go on to have any children, let alone 3 beautiful children. And I do sometimes need to just remind myself of that, like when I'm in the thick of it. And I've had periods today. I've definitely had phases today. Kids have been super emotional after their granddad passed away. It's been a really tough time with them, and I find with kids, like, those emotions come through in so many different ways that they're not always just tears and sadness. A lot of what we're experiencing right now, I think, often I just find that my husband and I saying to each other, like, God, they've really got the devil in them, and that is how it feels a bit. But we will navigate this as we do with all of these tough periods in life. Here is what the downstairs of the house was looking like after a little under half an hour. So this took me in total just under 30 minutes to achieve. And I am so pleased with it. Like, we have gone from stuff on every work surface to the kitchen looking much clearer. We've got stuff drying, and that's absolutely fine. Put myself a little scented candle on and everything. And the fan's still on, even though it was quite late at this point. Living room wasn't too bad at all. Once I tidied up toys and bits and bobs there, it's not looking too bad. And as I say, we're not aiming for perfection here. We still have toys out. There are things that my kids are playing with regularly at the moment during the holidays. That's absolutely fine. I've just left those where they are, but I've aimed to tidy those spaces as much as we possibly can. Got the chairs tidied, got them up, and then, island and everything looking much better. So I am super happy with that. I will see you guys in the next one.